Welcome to Spoken Synergy. We are coming to you from Wangerriburra country. I have the beautiful Angel here and Ryan from Mountain Peak Media. We are going to be asking many questions today. We're going to be answering many other people's questions today. But we are starting off where we left last time, which was with the topic of alchemy. So it was a beautiful spark in the conversation, and I'd like to expand on it.
Lovely.
So, Ryan, you were talking about the alchemy in relationships primarily, right?
Yeah, and just that concept of being able to take a situation and turn it into something positive or some gold.
Yeah.
So however that arises, but yeah, that's the sense of the...
That's really cool, because what we do with trauma work is we look at the soul's evolutionary journey and the decisions the guides have made to put them through extreme pressure, take them to points of fear and unsafety, and then we use them to unlock the gifts and the gold that are inside those events. Because if unresolved trauma is left like that, it compounds and snowballs and snowballs. But if you go in and unlock it in certain ways, you get all of these lessons that just filter out, and the soul then recalibrates and evolves. And there's this other technique that I use in shamanism and other things, is you're looking for the seed event. When did that event first occur and how many ripple effects have happened? So like the things that we go through in this lifetime could be the ripple effect, or they could be the seed. So when we start hunting around in past lives and looking for all these evolutionary seeds, we can turn trauma into evolutionary gold, and it works really well. Have you seen that happen?
Yeah, it shows you when you navigate all of that and you can shift it and change it. The transformation then in the person's life. Yeah, how they feel about themselves, how they feel about their life, how they perceive now all of the experiences that they're attracting, and just watching all of that change and just pan out in their everyday life.
Yeah.
Their life, their relationships. Because when you can work through all of that and actually shift through all of the hardship, coming out the other side, even knowing that nothing really has changed except you, the way now that you see everything around you changes. So now your behaviour changes, your understanding changes, and how you feel now changes. So you go from having something that feels horrific and is completely consuming your happiness to peace and understanding around that. So it no longer actually steals or robs you of any of your joy. It's like, I can see that, I understand it, but my life's great. I'm really grateful, you know, and just shift, and watching that alchemy pan out through all the different people in all the different ways is really rewarding.
Yeah, and you keep on drawing from it.
Yep.
It's like, what it looks like to me is when you look back over your life, unresolved trauma looks like dark spots.
Yeah.
Dark, scary, fucked up spots that you don't want to look at. When you open the doors and get that alchemy from it, all you see is light, and you keep on drawing from it because you don't have charge. You're like, oh yeah, I did learn that, and I learned this, and I've had that experience, and now I'm not scared of that, therefore I can be this person and this person. I think it's incredible. And then when you've looked at or created so much light in this lifetime, you go into the past lives and go, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that was scary, but I'm even further reserved from that.
Oh,
Great.
dear.
God.
How'd you go, Buppy?
I'm just going to vomit on your floor.
Perfect.
Oh no, what's happening? That's so interesting.
It's got a mascot. Apparently.
We should put him there in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Just have him fucking vomiting.
Yeah, just doing all the things.
Yeah, this great.
Yeah, it's just a bit of grass.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. There wasn't
Coughed
much
it up.
liquid. Interesting.
Well, after that interesting turn of events,
After that,
welcome to the new
We're running a
neighbour in the
professional
street.
operation here.
we're having many power animals visit us during this podcast. One other thing I want to expand on too. Alchemy to me happens really beautifully in that sense with the trauma and everything in someone's personal life, but also in soul contracts as well. Because strong soul contracts and relationships, it like melts together two people's light and dark and everything else. So you get this like change in both, and the alchemy and the magic starts to release things that weren't there before.
Yeah.
And
And
you
unlocks
think,
all those locked doors, all those
Yeah.
hidden components,
yeah,
accessing different parts of people's awareness. And
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, I never considered that before.
yeah.
Mm.
And then different people unlock different doors. So no two contracts are the same, which I love. And then when you're addressing those contracts, because it can be empowering and awesome and light, and also can be strangely weird and dark and uncomfortable. And you're thinking, why is that person unlocking these doors? That doesn't happen with anybody else. What does that mean? What's the alchemy involved? But just getting close to those contracts like opens up all this other stuff. I think an ego-based narrative of relationships is just like, I like them, they like me, we do fun stuff. But on a soul level, you can see like, I'm changing because that contract is coming closer. And that's got nothing to do with me or what I've been through in my story. It's that those doors are being unlocked by the magic within the contract. That to me is really beautiful alchemy too. And that sort of swims in and out as you go along in life. So, Ryan, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think that, I guess the reason why I asked that question was like, it's like a mindset to try and look for those opportunities to create that. And I think when you're in a good space, it's much easier, you know. But when you're depleted and you feel like you're running low, then it just feels like another kick or another hit, and it's just hard to flip it, you know. So yeah, that's how
Okay.
it feels for me anyway.
So it's like when resources are high and everything's feeling really good, magic happens through the alchemy. When that's not happening, it adds pressure and stress. And
Yeah, exactly. It's like the things that are hard, you're able to flip it or to see it for what it is. But when you're struggling, it feels like another weight, and then it's like those weights continually pile on, and you find yourself in a place where you're not happy.
yeah.
And it's really hard to swim out of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And I think there's a lot of that
Yeah.
now. You know, and I feel like I go through waves of that, where it feels hard, and then more things hard, and then it's like, oh, fuck this.
Too much alchemy, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's like, why is it happening?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah,
Good point.
but that as a concept to be able to do is powerful.
True.
Yeah, well, it's just a nice place to come back to always. It's like magic can happen under any pressure. If that pressure is compounding you on a deficiency, then everything's going to feel like pressure.
Yeah.
Even a life-changing situation,
Yeah.
even a creative opportunity, it's someone that's going to change your life. It can all add pressure if your resources aren't high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if there's potential there and you're rock solid, everything can create magic. Even what used to be a stress or what seems negative or disempowering, you can just get close to it and go, I might just make magic out of that actually. That's really nice. Or you can get close to someone else's trauma or pain and use that for evolutionary gold.
Yep.
Because your soul doesn't have to go through it anymore. Okay.
Right. So what's the next topic?
Would you like me to?
Yeah.
Choose a
Okay.
topic for us,
Okay.
Ryan. What's the next thing that you'd like us to
Okay.
discuss?
So, this is a question. I'm not sure where this question has come from, but I've always been intrigued and loved witchcraft. How do I start to incorporate a bit of witch magic into my life for someone who hasn't done anything like this before?
Oh, okay. So the witch gets that question. So if I think about beginners, The first thing I'm always asking an individual who's beginning out is what part of magic actually is calling you? Is there something in particular that you're attracted to? Some people will come through and it's all about the plants and the herbs. Some people will all come through and just go, no, it's about the hoodoo and the voodoo. Some people come through and they want to talk about the candles and that part of it. Some people come through and they want to talk about their ancestral lineage. So the first thing always with beginners is what is the first part, the source that called you? What was the first voice you heard? What is the first thing that you saw? We need to start there, simply because we're looking now for the root of something that's going to be authentically you.
Nice.
Yeah, I can show and guide all different kinds of ways with different kinds of magic. Every culture had their own. For a lot of people first, I look into their ancestral line, what's sitting there. I look into their past lives. What kind of witch were you then? If that's coming through now, it's connected to you somehow. We need to go back to the origin and find the source, because that's where you'll find the most comfort. That's where you'll find the most love and passion for it, because it's now showing you something that you've already done, or it's already inherent in you. Yeah, and then we always start there, and I empower them by telling them to go out, research.
I like that.
What kind of witchcraft? If you look at craft all over the world, which bits do you like? Some people 100% come to me and they're like, voodoo, I'm into voodoo. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let's go there. Start with voodoo is a religion. Hoodoo is the magic. So we're going to go out, we're going to have a look at books and different information that's available for free on the internet.
Yeah.
And start researching.
I like that.
Yeah.
So don't start where you think you should start. Start where you're interested in.
Yes.
If that's straight into something that's heavy, deep, dark, just go there.
Go there. Don't be afraid of it. There's something that's calling you, and I'm looking for the call.
So don't fluff around with candles if they don't call for you.
No.
Just go straight to the voodoo.
Yep.
Okay, I really like that, because there's no like course set curriculum here. There's no like linear pathway to being
there are many beginner offerings, but they are often very connected to a very specific kind of witchcraft. So you got to find your craft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're into all the underworld type of stuff, then you'll go towards someone who's offering that sort of teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's got a different kind of teaching. Everyone does it differently.
Yeah. And there's many teachers out there, right?
Many.
Okay, many books, many resources.
Many.
Okay, so people don't have to actually know their ancestry or where they've come from. They can start researching, and as you teach, your feelings and your body will tell you what information is right.
And they have to listen to their body, what's calling. Yeah?
Yeah.
Go towards that first.
Yeah.
Because that's going to connect you then to exactly where you need to go.
Yeah.
And there are lots of many stereotypes, and that's great. Everyone calls themselves a different kind of witch. Fantastic. That makes them happy. There are many of us out there. We're just known as the eclectic witch, because I do a little bit of that and a little bit of that and a little bit of that. Why? Because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And it could be many, many lifetimes in many different roles, and witchcraft might be maybe the easiest or the most resonant word that encompasses the lifestyle, perhaps.
Yep.
But we don't know all that for sure, and it's not concrete.
No.
Yeah. No. And you can mix and match many different, I guess a lot of them would be like healing modalities as well.
Yeah.
And like just a natural way of living and a connection to source or deities or gods or whatever.
Connection to the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to nature.
Yeah.
Back to simplicity.
Yeah.
Keeping it really, really basic in a sense that, well, this is the way I choose to live my life. This works for me. I'm not hurting anyone. Because there's always ground rules with any craft. Learn the ground rules, basics. And in every craft it's the same, harm none. Whatever you're doing for you, to benefit you, your family, your loved ones.
Yeah.
You're not out there to curse the world.
No. Okay, so if there was like one little hack that any little witchling could do that would just help them feel a bit more within the craft or the frequency of the craft every day, to like keep that connection? Is there one thing you could pick?
Oh,
I know
probably.
everybody's different.
Yeah,
but-
everyone's different, but for me, it's always the prep work.
Yeah.
Cleanse. Come home to yourself. Yeah. Reach in and ask the self. What is the self wanting?
Okay.
What do you need right now? And then from there, you move outwards.
Okay, so
most
coming
people-
back to that intentional
yeah,
space.
Back to your intentional space, learning how to prepare the space.
Yeah.
From there, it's a green light, go anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's coming back to the space.
Cool.
So most people come in and it's like, right, I need to smudge.
Yeah.
Get smudging. Some
Yeah.
people sit, no, I just need to energetically clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, do that. But it's about just coming home to the self and preparing, just
Yeah.
preparing the space.
Yeah. So like maybe a space that reminds you of the craft would help. Like a little intentional table, altar, whatever it is. Even if it's just one candle or whatever, because everybody lives in many different housing arrangements or whatever. Not everyone can have like a whole room for the craft, you know.
An altar space is something that witches always tend to use.
Okay.
And it can be really, really tiny and really basic, or it can be huge and elaborate, or anywhere in between. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But I know plenty of people that have like a tiny little empty lolly tin, and they put a miniature of everything in it so that when they travel, they've got it in their pocket and they can set up a tiny little mini altar anywhere they are, on a rock somewhere in the forest, in a hotel room, in the spare bedroom of a friend's house when they're staying over. They'll take, and then they'll pull it all out.
Yeah.
Light a little candle, say a little prayer, burn a little bit of incense if they can. Whatever it is, they might just bring their incense in a little oil or in a little spray and do it that way. There you go, done.
Yeah, beautiful. I think in shamanism we call that a medicine bag.
Right.
And you put little trinkets and tokens in to remind you of your allies and your animals and things. And you take that with you wherever you go, because shamans travel. You know, you got places to go, different soils to do work on, different things to learn. So that's nice. So even if you can't have the elaborate altar and you're not in the one place all the time, just carrying something with you in the physical reality that reminds you of the craft and that intentional space to come back and ask the questions. Beautiful. Okay, little witches, out you go to do all the things.
I've got some questions that somebody sent me.
Fantastic.
My beloved little witchling has sent me. Now, I know how much you love psychology, right? So she would just like expansion. She was curious about two topics. The first one, the question is, what is the difference between knowing one's value and being egotistical?
Oh, such a good question.
Can the two concepts exist in the same space?
All right, let's blow that open.
Yeah.
So she's talking about knowing's one value, like feeling worthy. I know myself, I know my worth, I know that I'm good enough and all those things. How much does that cross over into an egotistical framework, attitude, whatever? I actually reach this a lot in people. They think confidence equals cockiness because they see people that are cocky and they go, oh, that looks like confidence to me. But we also know that a projection of that comes from insecurity. So I guess everybody's expression of worthiness is different. I would say you don't have to be egotistical if you really know your worth, because there's no one you need to prove it to, which means you're not out there looking for approval of some kind. You're not out there talking about yourself with a hook in it to look for someone's reaction to it, to then go, oh, thank God I'm worthy.
Yeah, I'm validated.
I'm validated. Now I've got my shadow value and I can go away and be peaceful. For some people, worthiness looks like quietness or a difference in the way they hold their body, or a confidence simply in their taking action on things that may have been scary before, or they're doing the things that they said they were going to do and not hiding away and waiting for people. So I think when you're confident and you feel worthy and you know your value and your worth, a lot of people will always judge that as cocky and arrogant. And there's nothing you can do about that. Confidence looks like different realities to many different people. So I think we get caught up in what other people will view our worthiness and confidence as, but it's really no one else's business. If internally you're rock solid and someone else says in the room, any ripple effect of you're not good enough you will just go, that's all right, I know who I am. That's hilarious. And you're going to go away and be like, I know I'm good enough, that didn't touch me. But if it's still coming from an emptiness and someone's like, oh, you didn't do that well enough, you're going to be like, oh my God, didn't I? Triggered. Do I need to go away and negotiate my worth? Maybe I'm not good enough. And the whole spiral thing happens. So there is a fine line. I would say everybody's individual worthiness will be expressed authentically to them. And I might look really cocky to one person and really not to another. I might look confident to a whole bunch of people and really weak to others. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. My worthiness shows up in my health, in my stability, in the way that I govern my life, and me doing the things I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of mindfulness about how we then go out into the world and project ourselves in the form of our behaviour and our speech as to whether or not, how close it gets to that line of being egotistical.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you watch people overly project. Yeah? So they're talking too much, too fast, too loud. Whatever it is, if it's an overexpression of that ego, you'll see it straight away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's got a lot, like you said, it's all based in fear and insecurity. So it's very much about being mindful in that moment. If you're just concerned with you, which is all you should be concerned with anyway, how do you feel in your body? Mm-hmm. If it's being charged by any kind of fear or insecurity and you're going out into the world, be mindful of the way you're behaving and speaking, because it very well could be egotistical and nothing to do with the fact that you're trying to value yourself. Because right now, if you're trying to express that, you're actually looking for validation from someone else to say, hey, do you see how much value I have? Mm-hmm. If you value yourself, you're not concerned at all with what anyone else is thinking anymore. You're just going out into the world, having a good time. Yeah. Yeah, you're not seeking validation or acceptance. You're just going out there to do the things.
Yeah, that's a really nice point, because I think people get absorbed with the things that they'll say when they're confident. I find it's much more about the actions. Mm-hmm. So when people aren't confident in their own worthiness, they don't take the action towards more empowerment. They sit and wait for approval. Yeah. Or they worry about a lack of approval and they don't move. It's less about what you say and usually more about what you do and the way that you do it. You silently go about your business doing everything that serves you rather than waiting for an opportunity to speak your opinion. Because people think confidence is about having some kind of opinion on things and speaking about yourself in a certain way. I found the more confident I was, the more worthy I felt. I didn't have much to say. Yeah. I just say, oh, I don't know how I feel about that, actually. Haven't thought about it. That's okay. Not sure if I want to show up to the conversation either. I'll let you know. I thought it was going to be about, I always know what to say in any situation. I've always got a debate. No, much less. Much less. It was more like,
I have an opinion. Damn it.
I've thought about those things. But much less about that. More about just doing the things over there. Yeah. Excellent question.
Well, there was a second question.
Okay.
The second question is, what is the difference between impulse and instinct?
Ooh.
How can we tell or identify or justify either one? How do we separate them?
Okay. So let me speak it out and figure it out while I'm going, right? Impulse to me is a whole lot of gathered energy in one moment to do something that sparks more energy for me. Mm-hmm. That's an impulse. It relates to a fiery conception, and I'm not too concerned about how it plays out.
Yes, I'm working on it. I find there's not a lot of thought around an impulse.
Yeah, I haven't discussed all of the parameters within myself. I'm working on that energy, and if I trust that energy and I trust my impulsiveness, it's probably going to work out quite well. Instinct, for me, is a bit more of a program response towards things that keep us safe and in survival mode. So an instinct would be keeping myself away from danger. An instinct would be shielding myself from maybe trigger zones or people that are not good for me. But I feel that it's a more primitive part of who I am, and it's a bit more linked to survival. I can be impulsive and instinctual at the same time, and that's totally fine. They don't compete. I can separate them as well. One was just instinct, the other was impulse. No positive or negativity in either. If I was thinking about which one I would trust more, I think both relate to a level of self-awareness that is really important. If I know who I am and I know what serves me, both are safe. If I don't know who I am and I'm running a bunch of addictions and programs reminding me of my past self, both can be risky. Because my instinct is to keep myself safe in disempowering ways, and my impulse is for quick fix, instant gratification. Both become risky. So it's your level of authenticity that make them both safe or quiet, risky, dangerous, sabotagey. Excellent question, though. So,
because for me, it's very much, if I think about it from my point of view, I'm looking first to decipher one or the other by how I'm feeling in my body.
Mm-hmm.
There is a rush that happens in my body from an impulse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels very different to an instinct. Yeah, and it accesses a different part of my brain.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I can tell whether or not I'm being impulsive or I'm being instinctual. Yeah, very much instinctual again connects to survival. Instinct tells me hunt, not hunt. Danger, safe. Impulse is I have some sort of emotion inside me right now that wants a Band-Aid. I'm just going to do that impulsively. Yeah, I'm looking for a dopamine hit. I'm looking for some adrenaline. Yeah, I'm looking to quickly fix the thing, be the hero, running an ego program somewhere, and it's an impulse. Even if I do impulse shopping, I'm like, what part of my emotional state is not balanced right now? What is happening? Why do I need a Band-Aid? Yeah.
This is actually a really interesting topic because... Shall we talk about our totems? Because that's how it's coming through as a framing. Yeah? So for me, the more authentic, powerful, upgraded I became, the more I honoured my actual parts of my soul that were calling out to be trusted. So I was more measured, calculated, small and safe before. And I've actually had to trust my impulsiveness, my fire, my self-centeredness through working with astrology and shamanism. So the big cats are solo creatures. They hunt, they're impulsive, they're instinctual, and that's what keeps them aligned. There is no jaguar in the jungle sitting back going, I don't know if I should hunt today. What do you think? Is that... Maybe, I don't know, does that serve me? I'm not sure.
Is it safe today? Is the weather all right?
So the more impulsive and instinctual I become, the more wild I feel and how everything works out for me.
Yeah.
But then I can realize that I wasn't embracing that before. I was more programmed to be something different according to conditioning and what a female was and what a support role was. So the more I become that jaguar, the more me I feel. And I trust those impulses. Whereas before I'd be the one that didn't act on the impulses and got sick and unwell and uncomfortable. But then your totem is much different.
Very different.
And you're almost doing the opposite.
Yep.
Not working just on the impulses, learning how to gather information. Well, you tell me about your totem, of course. But...
My totem is the raven. It's very much talking to me about just taking a step back, looking at the bigger picture.
Because you have the gift of sight, so you can see it all.
Which means I have the opportunity to calculate. So as soon as I'm feeling impulsive, my totem will just go, are you sure? Is that an emotional trigger for you right now?
Yeah.
It's okay to be impulsive and get excited about certain things.
Yeah.
But my raven always pulls me back and says, can you just stop for a minute and let's review and make sure this impulse is in alignment with what it is that you actually do need right now.
Yeah.
It's not just a Band-Aid or a quick fix
Yeah.
to something that you've pushed aside and you're not ready to look at yet.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point, because for everyone, those qualities will be different.
Very much so.
But honouring, I mean, we use that terminology. We work with our totems, but you could work with your sun sign or your north node or something like that. When you work towards a fully fledged version of yourself, is that impulsive? And is that okay? And how much of that is programmed?
Yeah.
So if I'm, and I've told you before, if I'm not impulsive and I don't take risks, I get very uncomfortable. My body starts to stagnate and all these other things happen. I'm better to take the risk and calculate afterwards if it was a good idea than I am to sit back and hyperanalyze the whole thing and try and get all the information, because I can't, because I'm locked on.
Yeah.
I can't see anything else. When I'm hunting, I'm hunting. I've just got to hunt the right things and then I'm good.
And with impulse, there are so many variations of that. So I know that if I follow my passion, I'll find my life's purpose. Right? We're there, and as we go along, we find more passion, more purpose. And it keeps going. So the minute my heart lights up and I feel the passion, I know that's my compass pointing north towards my purpose, greater purpose, more purpose. Impulse will take over and I'm like, yep, I've got to do that thing. Doesn't matter how uncomfortable that makes me feel. Yep. There's growth, there's lessons, there's all the things that I need for my personal evolution, and I will get impulsive, but I'm very much aware of the alignment of that.
Yeah, and that comes with experience, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's about taking that first hold up, let's feel into that impulse. Where is that impulse actually buried? Where is the source of it? Where is it coming from? Is it coming from an emotional wounding? Well, we need to reevaluate that impulse.
Yeah.
However, if I know how to follow my life, my personal compass in my life, as soon as that blips on my radar, impulse shows up, we're out the door. Let's go.
Yeah.
Handbag, keys, half a sandwich, one shoe. Pants half the way up and we're out the door. We're going now. We're doing all the things now.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very much, I will be impulsive, but only when it aligns with everything that I'm working towards in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's, again, a lot of awareness around it.
Yeah, there's got to be. And then it's safe, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an amazing question. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Witchling. Ryan.
Yep.
Next topic.
Got a question for you.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to just see which one I want to hear there.
It's good being in control, isn't it?
Okay. What steps can I take to live a more grateful or happy life?
Ooh.
Nice question.
Yeah.
Do you want to begin?
No, you can begin.
Okay,
I'm just
great.
trying to think.
Awesome.
There are many steps.
So if we look at gratitude first, gratitude's something that you can hack into and break down. Happy's a little bit more complex, I believe.
Yeah,
It's
everyone's
an individual
version of happiness is very different.
And people think they want happiness. And as we talked about before, being happy in a way that we think we want to be happy might not be sustainable. Much more sustainable to just be content, fulfilled, peaceful, calm. Gratitude is hacking into your awareness so you can see the silver lining on everything and appreciate the conditions at any time. It's a beautiful hack for feeling better and more fulfilled every single day. We've had many clients that you give them a gratitude practice, their entire life changes.
Yeah.
And that's just in this moment, if I think about the things that I'm grateful for right here, what are they? They can be as simple as I'm grateful that I have a cup of tea, or I'm grateful that I have these beautiful people in my life, and you can span it out even further. The more you practice it, the bigger it becomes, and the more that becomes your new way of thinking. So we're hacking into the subconscious programming that might not be that appreciative, and the more you practice something over and over again, the more you rewire that subconscious programming. So if that programming, the background music to your life is quite negative and limited and controlling, because we are programmed to see, I'm not sure if this is good enough. I'm not sure if this reflects the level of me that I'm looking for. I don't know if this is what I would call abundance. If we hack into that and every single day we're like, I love this mug. I love that table. I love you and I love you and I love this and I love everything about it and I love the sky and the grass and everything. More and more that becomes just our way of life.
Yeah, it will dissolve the discontent that people have that bring them to an idea in their mind that they are unhappy and unsatisfied with their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, for most people, that everyone has an element within their life that could be improved.
Sure.
Yeah, and there are some who have a far more blessed life than others. But that is a viewpoint.
Sure.
That's an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are lots of people in the world that are super grateful, yet they have nothing.
Yeah.
And they in themselves believe that they are happy. Yeah, they're joyful, they're always smiling, they're grateful that they're alive. Yeah, to them, life is the greatest gift and there is no discontent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not out in the world feeling miserable about the fact that they have nothing. They're happy because they're looking out at the world and seeing the world as such a beautiful, magical place.
Yeah.
So it's really about dissolving the discontent that you have.
Yeah.
What is it in your life that makes you feel unhappy in your mind from your personal perspective?
Yep.
What is that? How did it get there? How did your belief system come to the conclusion that that means unhappiness? That means lack of joy or abundance or anything else that you don't have gratitude for? How did you become someone that now is struggling to find things in life to be grateful for?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because I would say that even all the clients we've been seeing in our dyad sessions, their greatest form of suffering is their thoughts, right? And their outlook on their life. And once we blow that all open, you can almost see an incessant need to find more stuff to be unsatisfied about, right? And they're dedicated to that self-sabotage.
Yeah, the cup half empty. It's always half empty.
And that's a dissatisfaction that gets filtered down and conditioned into us so that we're always looking for more, which drives consumerism and all of these things. But you're right, if you look at people that are happy, they're happy because of the little things and the big things. It's like a lens or a filter that you put on anything.
Yep.
You can be in any situation, and if you can pull out the good in it, then you're looking for the silver lining until your life becomes the silver lining. And you love everything all the time, and you're not looking for dissatisfaction anywhere. And when you see something that used to represent dissatisfaction, you go, oh, I just feel great about that.
Yeah.
That value
that's
was
actually
awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. It's
I'm so
amazing.
grateful for that experience.
Yeah, that was great. That really
Thank
hurt.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel really sick right now, but I'm super grateful for that because I have a body.
I have a body and it feels things.
Yeah. So I guess breaking that down into practicality, which is our thing, make a list, pen and paper, old school. How many things about today, about this moment are you grateful for? Day after day, over and over. Give it at least 3 weeks. I would want the list to get bigger and broader and see if we can recondition. It's just a conditioning.
Yeah.
It's not a curse. It's not a whole lifetime of dissatisfaction. It's
There's nothing
just
wrong
the way.
with you.
There's nothing wrong with you. It's just the way that we've been taught to see our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's just up to us to teach ourselves to see it differently.
Yeah.
That's all. We're
Yep.
just shifting our perspective
Mm-hmm.
and we're shifting it to the cup is half full, not half empty.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
isn't it funny when you start really digging things that your past self would have been like, it's not great, is it?
It's like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
That shit.
It's like, oh,
Why
this
is it
this wasn't the glamorous life that I thought about, but I
Yeah.
fucking love it. It's amazing. The little things and
Yeah.
the bigger things. Yeah. Good question.
All right. What else you got for us, Ryan?
Okay, so let's go into the...
You're just delayering.
I know, and I'm cold and I'm too hot and it's in going. Fuck, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Feeling anxious randomly for short bursts of time. Do you think that this could be related to the spirit realm?
Oh. So it can You can be tuned in to the collective conscious. You could have all of your etheric layers and your auric field spread too far, and you can pick up on what the neighbours are doing, the people in the traffic, the person sitting on the other side of the room. Sometimes it can be very much, because it's the first question we always ask, is that mine?
Yes.
Is that mine?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
What-
your phone ringing?
Are you done? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, it is yours, Angel.
Of course, it's mine.
Does someone want to participate?
I
We'll
don't know. I
on
should have answered the
speaker.
phone. They're probably going to try and sell me, I don't know, a new phone.
Something
Or-
to create more anxiety.
Yeah, or try and get me to donate to a charity, or tell me that I owe money to some, I don't know, warlord in Afghanistan. And that if I don't pay up, they're going to come and get me. I can go hard.
We've had lots of little visitors today, haven't we?
Yes, there's been lots of interference. So we talk about interference. Anxiety creates a lot of interference.
Yeah.
Heaps of interference
Mhm.
in our everyday life. It gives us an opportunity to tune in. Yeah,
Mm.
what am I doing right now? What am I feeling right now? What was I doing? What thoughts are running through my head? What's sitting in my subconscious? Yeah, because often anxiety is connected to worry about something if it's ours.
Mm.
So the first question is it ours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coming and going, because I know that roller coaster really well. And I learnt a long time ago that most of it wasn't even mine.
Yep.
And when it
totally.
was mine, there was a message for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can you just look over here? Could you pay some attention, please?
Mm.
This is going on.
Mm.
You didn't see that before. We just need you to be aware. So instantly, anxiety will always grab my attention.
Yes.
Instantly. And I'm like, right, who is that? Is there a
Yeah.
message for me? Am I tapped into something else? Do I need to separate myself from the collective conscious right now?
Mhm.
Didn't even realise I was in there.
Yeah. So we would teach our students and clients to be hyper aware of emotional patterns,
Mm.
to learn that they are in training, and the more awareness they have and the more questions they have to ask about it, the better. So like if you're in a framework where, oh, I'm anxious, what have I done wrong? You've just personalized it and let it attach to you and you've made it part of who you are.
Mm.
But if you're like, hang on, I just suddenly felt anxious. Nothing in my environment is coding to me something that is a threat. Whose is this? Where did it come from? So I was saying to a beautiful person yesterday, now that you're cleared, because we do a lot of clearing of all sorts of things, now that you're cleared, I want your space to be calm. So if an emotion walks in the door and you haven't invited it in, I want you to ask some questions, because that's just come in your door. I want you to be so aware of it that you go, hang on, is this mine? Where did you come from? What are you here to teach me? Can I work with you? Are you part of who I am? Are you telling me that there's something wrong in my body? What's actually happening? Or can I tell you to go away now? I've learnt my lesson, off you go. And I think that's a really nice framework to use so that any time an emotion shows up that doesn't match our environment, we have the skills to be like, hang on,
What is that?
whose is that? How did that just get in the room? I didn't invite that in.
Yeah.
What's going on
You
here?
can give consent for that. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Yeah, I'm not in a life-threatening situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
So where is this coming from?
Yeah.
I think a lot of psychics, intuitives, healers, witchlings in training get that training. They just don't know they're in a training program.
Yeah.
They just think, I'm anxious because I ate that thing yesterday, or I'm trauma infused, or whatever it is. But most of the time it's, we need you to start learning about these things now because you're actually in training. So excellent question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I certainly know for us when anxiety shows up, we're like, hang on a second. 2 seconds is enough of that feeling, thank you very much. What's
Who
going on here?
is that? And I have very specific guides that come in and get my attention by giving me a little zapping.
Yes.
And in that moment, I get that anxiety. I drop everything. I'm like, hello,
Can I help you?
is there something you need from me? Why is this happening? You know I don't do this in my body. What is this?
Yeah.
I need to drop everything. Go do, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
I'll go do that thing.
Yeah.
Because this thing ain't staying.
Yeah. And you think, oh, I just got to do one more thing. I'm just halfway through. Can I just, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
All my guides know. They give me a little bit of anxiety. I will drop everything on the floor. I don't care what it is. Everything stops. The whole world stops. This is not staying in my body. Get it out. What do you want from me?
It's a really good way to get your attention.
Yeah, it works for me every time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll only let it go for a certain amount of time before I think, well, this is going to get in the way of everything.
Yeah.
This is very inconvenient right now.
It's very uncomfortable.
I mean, so is checking out and doing some work, but apparently this timestamp is what you want from me.
Yeah, right now.
It's happening now.
Let's do the thing.
What would you like me to look at?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Mm.
I love that.
I've got another one that you might like.
Oh.
Okay. Is it safe, or what is the best way to try to connect with a lost loved one?
Oh. Guess it depends on your definition of lost.
Yeah,
Are we talking about deceased?
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say deceased. Yeah.
Okay.
The crossed. First thing you need to ask yourself, why do you feel the need? They've transcended this harsh realm. They're free. Life's great for them now.
Mm-hmm.
They've moved on to the next stage of their evolution. What is it you feel you need to say? What questions do you feel you need to ask them? What is the real purpose of trying to connect?
Yeah, nice.
I don't see anything wrong with connecting. My query is always, why? Why is that so important? Are you going to die without that information or without that clarity? What is it in you that feels so called? Because I get it all the time.
You do, yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, yeah, sure, I can do that for you. It's not a problem. You got to give me a good enough reason as to why.
Yeah, if you're going to summon the dead.
Yeah. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of dragging them back through the veil to answer your questions? Yeah. What emotion are you holding in your body that you're not letting go of? Is there guilt? Is there shame? Is it ego? What is it that compels you to do that? There's 7 billion other people on the planet. I'm sure you can find someone else to talk to.
All have human working ears. Can pick up the phone.
Most people can't answer that question. I just want to know if they're all right. Of course they're all right. They don't have to wear a mask or get the jab or do any of the things. There's no one out there humping monkeys in their world now. They're fine.
Unless they're in the monkey humping.
They've gone to that realm. Monkeypox for everyone. So it's like, what is it you really need to know? I just want to know they're all right. Of course they're all right. Why wouldn't they be all right? Where is your belief system anchored at the moment? Where is that fear coming from?
Okay, so what we sort of have here is like a lack of experience and education around where souls go.
Yeah.
And possibly because religions competing against each other, not finding information that feels concrete, not exploring it enough. When someone passes over, they pass over into an unknown realm and you get a little bit more anxious about what that means for you. You're right, it's the intention that's really important.
Yeah, because some people are like, no, I need to know where they left this thing. I need to know where the key is to the safe. I'm like,
Yeah, so a part of this also sounds like trying to control and escape the grief process. Yeah? They're like, I just need to know this thing and then I can let go and get closure. Well, closure is an inside individual job.
Yeah.
Because I get this question a lot with, I think this relationship's out of alignment for me now. Should I call them up and tell them the thing? Or should I just move on my own? Depending on where you're at in that contract, you have the resources and the ability to let go and find closure in anything. You don't have to call up the person that wronged you. You don't have to call up the deceased relative and say, hey, you know what? This part of our relationship was shit. You have the tools and the resources to do that on your own. So I think it's important that people do check in with themselves. There are ways to connect with deceased individuals.
absolutely.
But it's not essential for closure.
No.
What we're looking for is an engagement in the grief process. You're going to have to accept it and let it go if you want your health to return anyway.
Yeah. And for those who want to practice it, absolutely. But like anything, it takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of practice. There's plenty of ways to do it that are safe, and there are also the ways to do it that are unsafe. The only way you're ever going to be able to know the real difference is to do all of the training properly before you even go anywhere near it.
Sure. Yeah. So if you want to embark on a journey to mediumship, it's a whole journey.
Yes.
Much to learn, many processes involved. You'll be dancing around in that arena and you can serve people. But going in for a quick fix based on some ego need for closure, that's what I feel it's about usually.
Yep.
Ask yourself the deeper questions, and is it really important? Because that soul is at peace.
Yeah, and if that's something that you feel you need to do and it's just for you, it's not something you want to do for a living or something you want to practice, or it's a natural talent or gift that you might have that you want to expand on, if it's just something that is purely for you, then go and see a professional. Go and see a medium. See someone who does this for a living, and they're well practiced, well versed. They do it all the time. They know how to protect themselves, their space, and they know how to call through the dead cleanly without any of the headaches that can come along with it when you open those doors. It's like having a house full of cats, and every single one of those cats wants to go outside, and you need to go out to take the rubbish out. And you're trying to get out the door and watch how many cats fly past you as you try and get through the door. These things can happen. You don't know what you can get from the other side if you can't control that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, you just want an answer, go and see someone who knows how to do that, who's had years of practice and has done everything, learnt the hard way. There's a safe space you can do it in. Otherwise, get ready for some training because it's going to take a while.
Yeah. Beautiful. Excellent question. Yeah. Nice.
Okay, I think we've got time for one
more.
One more quick one.
Such a twat. You're not allowed to bring feathers anymore. And your stray dogs. Fucking witch comes with all the interference, people calling, dogs showing up, dead things. Look at all these deceased people in the room. Fuck.
Okay, so what would be better for a first time reading? Tarot cards or runes?
For a first time reading, it's all going to come down to the reader. Because every reader sees something different in their tools. Every time. So whether the reader uses cards or runes or a crystal ball, it all comes down to the reader. For me as a reader who reads both of those, I find when I look at the runes, I get given insight into their soul's journey in this incarnation and everything that is interrupting the flow of that person's journey towards their higher purpose and their greatest potential. Whereas the cards, even though there's aspects of the cards that are about their spiritual pilgrimage, the cards will often speak about everyday mundane subjects and topics.
Interesting.
Yeah. Whereas the runes will give me more about the soul, and the cards give me more about the person and their actual everyday life.
So you would pick
That's me personally. That's not for everyone.
So you would pick and choose the tools according to what they would give you, and you're looking for like a comprehensive read, but then your guides would also tell you which tools suit that person in what way.
Yeah, so if they have a particular question, most people's questions are very much about something they need clarity on that's happening in their life in this moment. So I would then go to the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's happening in the life in this moment.
Yeah.
Where people come to me and they're like, I don't know where I'm going in life. I don't know what my life purpose is. I'm just struggling with all the things. I get the runes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the runes are going to show me. Yeah, it's just deeper. It's a different level, but that's simply the way I read them. That doesn't mean the next person's going to read them the same.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone does it differently.
Yeah. And if you could guide someone that is getting into reading themselves, it's just what you're drawn to, like you were saying with the craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Because
does the
you can
heart
read
love?
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You can just like pick up a bunch of rocks and throw them, and then once you've learnt the basics, you can read the rocks.
Yeah, you can throw anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So if someone's trying to pick a reader,
Yeah.
go with your feeling.
Gotta go with your feeling.
So you wouldn't be like, I need to find a reader because they do tarot and I like tarot.
No.
You go with the person and how they feel and the situation, and whatever they read is their tools and their craft, right?
You've got to be attracted to them in some way.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what it is about that person, but I need to go there. I just feel like I need to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I pick people that way. I pick healers and readers and teachers that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about you, but I like what you got going on.
Yep.
Book me in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's usually a feeling, something you register in their language. I follow the synchronicity as well. Like if it all works out for me to get that appointment there, I know that that's trustworthy. If I try and make an appointment over there and it keeps on getting rescheduled, cancelled, moved around, all of that sort of interference runs, I know, okay, either not the right time, not the right reader. My guides have to work on me a bit more. It doesn't feel right. And I'm just governed by that. So that's a really nice question. Because you can tea leaf read and all sorts of readings, right?
All sorts of things. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And channeling's the same. It's just not using tools.
Yeah.
But it's the same idea. I think people like readings because they can see it and then they're listening to an interpretation, but they're also getting something from where it's all sitting there.
Yeah.
I certainly do. I have no idea what it means. You do. But I'm still gathering patterns and symbols and ideas.
It's more
and
engaging.
pictures. Yeah.
It's more engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for a lot of people on the outside, looking at someone channeling and just telling you all of these stories can be a little bit hard for a regular person to take on board. You're just like, whoa,
Yeah.
I don't understand half of it. Some of it I do. The rest is like, I don't know. I don't know.
And I can't see
I don't know what's
who's
going
working
on.
with you. So what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People really engage when there's an actual tool on the table in front of them. They get really curious and they're like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
And for many people that get readings, I'll look at the tools and go, oh, I've seen that before. I know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get a bit excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or really disappointed, depending on which tool comes out.
Yeah. And that's interesting too.
Because
they need to have that.
Card.
Yeah.
Oh,
That doesn't look good. Is
I
that
want that. So they know. Yeah.
good? Yeah. So is it important for other readers to go to readers rather than just read for themselves? Because can they get in the way?
They can get in the way. I remember when I was learning readings, it was just like, never read for yourself.
Oh,
Never read for yourself.
okay.
Yep. So when you get really good and clean, I will never do a full spread for me.
Interesting.
Yeah. If I just need clarity on one topic, give me insight as to where I need to go with this topic, I might pull one card or one
Interesting.
rune only.
Right.
Yeah,
Because you
whereas
will sway it as well.
I will sway it. I'll read it so it either aligns with whatever ego narrative is going on or it'll align with whatever desire my heart has. Yeah? It's not the actual truth.
That is so interesting. So, like, as a coach, we have a rule: don't coach your partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't coach someone that's really close to you. You will get in the way and you will sway it the way that you want.
Yeah.
There's a controlling mechanism in there. It doesn't matter how evolved and aware you are, it's still not going to work out.
We're human.
Yeah.
Human.
And I've said to everyone, if you're really into a healing modality and you're studying that, go away and find a practitioner in it and learn what it's like to receive over and over and over and over and over again. Watch your own results. I know for acupuncture, it's physically really hard to acupuncture yourself in places. So we have to outsource a little bit. And I think it's nice. It's like, I can't solve all my problems. So if you're a reader in training and you're attracted to shamanism, witchcraft or whatever, go out and get a whole bunch of readings and see what the experience is like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And blow it open, see how powerful those tools are, see what it's like when other people read them, see how other people read them, and gather all that data.
Yeah.
Because you learn so much, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And don't read for yourself, maybe.
Yeah. No.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's the same with I don't do like proper healings on me. I outsource that work.
Yeah.
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 Same with the readings.
Yeah.
I want a reading, I want clarity that my guides can't give me,
Mm.
I'll just go out and visit one of my friends.
Yeah.
Hey, haven't seen you in 6 months. Cough it up, let's go.
Give me the truth. Come
Yeah,
on.
let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm feeling like a healing, right? Who's available this week?
Yeah.
And I've got all my favourites in a list, and I just contact all of them, and the first person to go, yeah, I'm available on this day, and that works for me,
That's who you
we're
trust.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
we're
you guys
on.
have just said green light.
Yep, you need to go there.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I love this topic. Now I want a reading.
My cards are in the car. We'll do that.
Awesome.
All right,
What time have we got?
we're at time. Wrapping it
Okay.
up.
Do you want me to sign off?
Camera's on.
Stop it. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us here. This has been Spoken Synergy. Thanks to Angel and Ryan from Mountain Peak Media. We have come to you today on Wangerriburra country. We pay respects to the elders past, present and emerging on this soil that we are so grateful to have this creative opportunity on today. We will see you in a couple of weeks' time. Find us on YouTube. There'll be bloopers on TikTok. There'll be all sorts of things. What we're asking for is your questions, your topics, your case studies, anything you want to ask us. Just relay that back to us, email us, DM us on social media. I would love to hear all of it and answer all your questions. So thank you for joining us here today.